Good morning, boys and girls. What we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to insert and create a graph based on data that we took in class for our lab. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Google Drive, and then we are going to go to Create, and you want to create a spreadsheet. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Once you're done with that and the spreadsheet opens up, be sure that you title it so you know what this graph is for. You can take a look at your Google Docs file, the lab write-up itself, and you can actually use the title of the lab write-up so you know which lab the spreadsheet goes to. So once you've set that all up, what you need to do is you need to start to create a data table based on the data that you took and recorded in class. So we were taking a look at the amount of oxygen produced in Alodia plants over 40 minutes under light conditions and under conditions where the Alodia is placed in the dark. So you want to create three columns here. You want to create a time column from 0 to 40 minutes, which is how much time we took to record our data. You want to create a second column that's titled in the lights or under the lights or in light, however you want to title it, just so you know that this is the data for the Alodia plants that were under the light bank. And then lastly, the data that I gave you for the plant that was in the dark, you want to create a third column for that in the dark or the dark, however you want to title it, just so you know this is the Alodia that was in the dark. Now, these values in the light we calculated in class, and these values in the dark I gave you from the readings that I took. So once you have your data set up in your spreadsheet, everything else is pretty easy. First of all, what you're going to do is you're going to highlight your titles of the three columns and the data underneath them. So you're going to highlight the time, in light, and then dark columns. Once you're done there, you go up to Insert at the top and you click on Chart. Now, once you click on Chart, it's going to give you a couple of options. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to use column A as labels. And then what you want to do next is click on the type of chart that you would like to use. So when we click on the Charts tab, we have all these different types of charts that we can make. What we're going to do is we're going to use a line graph. The line graphs are great for showing changes over time, which is what we were looking at, the amount of oxygen change over time. Now you can pick a regular line chart or a smooth line chart, it doesn't matter. This one just has sharper angles than that, but it's going to show you the same thing. I'm going to pick the smooth one. Alright, so now as you can see, my data has been graphed. I have the blue line that indicates my data for the plants underneath the light, which you can see here. And then I have my data for the plants in the dark, which I can see here. So now that I've double checked it, my lines are right, I'm going to move on and get to the next part. Next thing I need to do is I need to customize my graph, because if you take a look at this representation of your graph, it's missing vital things like a chart title and axes labels and so forth. So if we take a look, what we're going to see is we're going to see chart, and then we're going to see title. So this is our chart title. And remember, when you write a chart title, it should always be in the fashion that the reader knows what they're reading. So I'm going to title this Oxygen Production Over Time, because that's what we're looking at. Alright, so as I click off of that, you can see that my title of the graph has changed. Next, what's going to happen is we have to label our axes, and you have two axes. You have your horizontal or x-axis, and then you have your left vertical or y-axis. So we have to make sure we title them because that's the proper thing to do. So our x-axis, the horizontal, is going to be time, because that's what 0, 10, 20, 30, and 40 represent. So we're going to put down time in minutes, so our reader knows what units we're measuring time in. And then what we'll do next is we're going to change that, and you can see the time, the axis change there. And we're going to go to our y-axis or left vertical, and these numbers represent the amount of oxygen produced. So this is oxygen production. And just like we included minutes on the x-axis, we want to include the unit of measurement, which is milliliters, on the y-axis, so the reader knows. And then if you take a look here, you'll notice that at the bottom of our y-axis, we start at negative 0.1. We don't want to do that because we didn't start our readings there. So here's our minimum value, all right, the smallest measurement value that we have, and we're going to set it at 0. And once we set it at 0, now our graph is all balanced out and ready to go. Okay, so I have my labels, I have my title, I have my legend, which I can show you how to edit here. So I can change the colors here. So for my inlight data, I can change it to any color I want, like orange, and then it'll change it to orange and so forth. So you can toggle back and forth and figure out what colors you want to make them, and then here's your light and dark data. Once you're all done, you click Insert, and then it's going to insert your graph in your data table. And then once we have done that, all you have to do is then click this right drop-down menu, select Copy Chart, go to your lab write-up, go to the graph box underneath your data table, and then hit Control-V or Paste, and then your data table will be pasted into your lab write-up, and then you're all done. Okay, so that's what you have to do to make a graph and insert it. Have fun with that. I hope this was helpful. Thanks.